Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another check-in video. Today we're going to be doing a video about what I've been watching so far and what I've been reading so far. And I do apologize, it's late at night when I'm recording this, and when you guys are seeing this, I'm going to be on my way back to my apartment, so it might not come out at the right time that it usually should, but you know, it is what it is. It's just kind of how I have to do things. So let's get into it. I'm trying not to make this too long because it is time to go to bed, because tomorrow I'm traveling and I haven't really rested well the last few days. So let's get started. In terms of what I've been watching, I haven't really watched too much, but what I have seen has been relatively interesting. So technically speaking, I watched Terminal List, which is a show on Amazon, but I stopped being interested in it about the third episode. So I just sat around with my parents while they watched it and read while they were doing that. So technically speaking, I watched it, but I didn't really pay attention to it after the third chapter. So that doesn't really count. But other than that, I watched Transformers, the War on Cybertron trilogy, which was on Netflix. It was actually pretty good. I really did enjoy it. It had some issues. I really wish it could have been longer in some parts. But overall, the pacing and the style of it, everything was pretty on point. It was pretty enjoyable. It was cool. It basically felt like G1 plus Beast Wars combined into one story, and then kind of with some added things here and there. I don't really remember everything from G1. I just remember like the basics of G1. Most of my time spent with Transformers was probably Transformers Armada, the movies, Prime, and then I do remember watching Beast Wars, but I don't really remember any key points from it. So it is what it is. But yeah, then I watched Lightyear. It was a great movie. I actually loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was a great animated sci-fi film. I think there should be more of them. I really liked Buzz Lightyear as a character. I thought he was fun. I didn't really care too much about the other characters, but I think it could have, I don't know, it worked well, but like thinking back on it now, I could have liked the characters a bit more, and it's not really all that important. First and foremost, it was a Buzz Lightyear story, and it was a great one, and I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the way it was animated. I liked a lot of the jokes. I really enjoyed my time with the movie. My favorite part was probably Lightyear, of course, and Socks. I really liked that character a lot. And yeah, it was pretty good. Then I watched Bullet Train, which was a really fantastic experience. My dad didn't really seem to like it. My sister was okay on it. My mom didn't really care too much, but she found some of the scenes funny, and she enjoyed Bad Bunny showing up, so I can count it as mostly a win. But I thought it was really fun. It was a cool action movie and had a lot of awesome stylistic choices to it. It was really funny. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was it wasn't necessarily my favorite type of comedy, but it had a lot of style to it, and it was pretty funny, so I liked it overall. Like, even though it wasn't my type of comedy exactly, a lot of the jokes really hit for me. I thought it was really fun. It was definitely one of those turn off your brain, just enjoy what's going on kind of movies, and I really enjoy that type of experience a lot. Actually, that's mostly why I go to the movies. I don't really care too much about having like this really deep story, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. When I go to the movies, I go for spectacle, and Bullet Train really delivered on that. So I really, really enjoyed it. It's probably it's not my favorite film this summer. I think that one is, based on what I remember tweeting, was probably Top Gun Maverick. It was just such a good movie. And then Lightyear, and then this one. And then I watched the first season of Manifest, which is a show. It's available on Netflix, and it's a really good show, actually. So basically, people go on on an airplane, and they go from Jamaica back to New York. But right before they land, they hit a storm, and then they get somehow transported 5 years into the future. And then their story starts to unfold, and it turns out they have these vague callings or premonitions or something like that, that gives them the ability to kind of connect with each other and connect with other people. And it's really good. It kind of gives me a vibe like Alphas, if you guys ever watched that show, or like Heroes, or, you know, something of that nature. It's just kind of like normal people that somehow end up having some sort of superpower, and then the superpower is used to kind of save people, but also is very dramatic, and it causes a lot of struggles with the characters and their families. So I really like it. I thought it was really great. I watched the first couple episodes of season 2, and so far I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, now let's get into what I've been reading. I've been reading quite a lot of stuff, actually. I think I'm about halfway done with my TBR. So yeah, let's start with August 3rd. I read Captain Tsubasa Volume 1. I thought it was a great way to start the month with the, basically the first, what's it called? Sports manga, sports anime that I ever remember watching. I have distinct memories of watching Captain Tsubasa when I was a little kid in Mexico. I don't really remember what episodes or anything like that, but I distinctly remember that. And I remember playing soccer by myself and coming up with stupid like attack name things when I would hit the ball because I saw that show. And even though it doesn't really have that kind of vibe, it like inspired me. I thought it was cool. And I would do these stupid like Power Rangers moves to try to kick the ball into scoring, and it was fun. And I remember doing that because I saw Captain Tsubasa on TV a long time ago, and it was fun. It was really enjoyable. It felt super nostalgic, but also completely new because I don't really remember any of it, right? So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it, so I thought that was fun. Other than that, I read a bunch of OALNs. So I read Our World's Magic, which is actually, it's not the full title, but it's the part of the title that I remember. So yeah, I think the full title is actually something along the lines that like somehow I brought Our World's Magic to this other world, something like that. It's written by C.A. McDivitt. He sent me a copy of the book, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. There were some issues, very clear, like, hey, this is an author that hasn't written before, and he's trying his best, but sometimes things kind of don't work that well. And overall, even though there was that, it was a pretty good story at the end of the day. It was a kind of vaguely Dr. Stone-esque kind of isekai, kind of a little bit similar to Realist Hero, stuff like that. It's really, really good. For like a first take or a first opportunity, sorry, not a first opportunity, but like a first try, which probably took a lot more tries than like what I'm saying, but like for first published work, I think it worked pretty well. I quite enjoyed it. And then I read Punk Hazard, which is just 46 chapters of One Piece, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. I actually really liked it. I'm reading, or I just finished reading part of Dressrosa today, so I definitely think it was really useful. And looking back on it now, it's probably not as good as I was making it out to be in the review, but it is still pretty enjoyable. I think I retract a little bit of what I said, and I think Fishman Island's better than Punk Hazard at the end of the day, but I mean, it's still good. So then I read a volume of Street Fighter Classic, which was good. I quite enjoyed it. Then I read Blue Lock volumes 1 through 3, which is awesome. I really like this as well. I can't remember when my reviews over the series are coming out, but I have a first impressions review that I already did. I have a review of the first arc, which is just the first volume, and then a review of the first part of the next arc, which is the first selection arc. I read two volumes of it. The next 2 volumes aren't out yet in like physical volumes, so I'm kind of waiting until they are to pick up the series, and it's really, really good. It's a death game-esque kind of battle royale kind of situation, and it's really good. It's soccer. It's really interesting. It's completely different from Captain Tsubasa, but at the same time, like really, really compelling, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really great. The art style is also really awesome. Then I read this thing called Aliens Club, which is another original English light novel sent to me by the author. In this case, it was someone called Junit. And I liked this. I thought it was fun. It kind of reminded me of Haruhi Suzumiya, but it didn't really have anything there at the end of the volume to like keep me entertained or anything that really made it seem like there's more to the story. And so I think it fell flat a little bit, but it wasn't bad. Like, it was really well written. I really enjoyed what I read. It just doesn't feel like it connects to anything further, and I think that's a big miss. But it was a good try. It was a good, interesting kind of story. I'm definitely willing to read another one, so I quite liked it overall. And then I read Haikyuu. I read the first volume of Haikyuu. I really enjoyed it. I actually really love this story. I think it's really, really cool. Hinata's just such a great, really enjoyable, kind of naive, but also really wholesome character, and I really like him a lot. I can understand why people like these characters from Haikyuu. Then I read the first arc of Haikyuu, the first 35 chapters, I think. Really good stuff. It was awesome. I think this is the one where they battle Blue Castle, and I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that. Then I read Haikyuu arc 2, which is up to chapter 71. Awesome as well. I really enjoyed the Inter-High arc. It was great. It was really exciting to see them battle, you know, the Iron Wall team, and then battle Blue Castle, and then also practice with Nakoma. Like all of the games were really awesome and really good. And Kageyama and Hinata are a great team. I like them a lot. Then I read Sponge Your Life, or Ideal Sponge Your Life Volume 1. I thought it was really great. However, part of me kind of wishes that it was written by a Western author for a Western audience, because given that it's a YA light novel, a lot of times it can't really get into like the nitty gritty, like sexy times that you kind of expect from the way the story is set up. Because basically the story is this guy gets summoned to fuck. Like his point in this other world is to become the queen's king, to become her consort, I think is what the name is, and just give her babies, right? But you never actually get to see them do any of that. And it's not necessary to do so, but like there really isn't any, what's it called? Payoff of that. At least not yet. If they ever kind of talk about it, it's very much like it happened. And like, I'm not saying it needs to happen like on screen or anything like that. But for a story that functions around the fact that this guy's there to fuck, there really isn't any of it. And I kind of wish that it was more like a Hamlet story, like written by a Westerner with that kind of scene in mind. But overall, I thought the story was great. I really enjoyed it. I also really liked that the story actually had a European kingdom, a medieval Europe kind of setting to it, without it being German or English. It was really great. It was actually like a Spanish kingdom. They seemed to be kind of like the Spanish Arabic thing that was happening in the 10th century, 11th century, if I remember correctly. That kind of idea. But they were actually speaking like American neutral / Latin American Spanish instead of Spaniard Spanish, instead of Castellano. So I found that to be interesting. I quite like that. There's also a very distinct time when they say that the characters look Latino or Southeast Asian, which is basically they look like people from the south of the Americas or people from India. And I thought that was interesting. At least they used Latino in the way that makes it sound like they were using the American version of the term and not necessarily the all-encompassing term that Latino means, right? Because Latino basically means anyone of a Romance language speaking country, and that includes Romanians, most of the people in the south of Europe, and then, you know, everything south of the US, and you could even say France, sorry, not France. France is already a Latino country, but like Canada, parts of Canada are also Latino countries, or are also a Latino country. So it's a very broad definition, but in the US, we basically just mean south of the US, right? So the term was used in that sense, and so I'm very, interested in that because Spanish people aren't necessarily seen like that, right? So I don't know if that was actually what Japanese people were saying, or if it was a translation in order to get that point across, right? So it's really interesting. I really enjoyed that. I don't really care about representation in like the way that everyone seems to clamor about it, but I thought it was interesting to see Japanese people be interested in Latino culture and ideas, right? I always find it really interesting that there's like a Japanese cholo subculture. I think that's fun. I don't really care if they're good about it or anything. I just think it's interesting. So yeah, then I read Dressrosa Part 1. I've read the first 51 chapters of it, and it's really great, actually. I really, really enjoy it. I think it's awesome. It's a lot of chaos, and my favorite part is also that one, it's a kind of Spain-ish kind of country or island that they're in. The island of Dressrosa is basically Spain with elements of Rome, which is cool. But I also really like the little fairy creatures that are part of Dressrosa. These tontatas, I think is what they're called. They're kind of like duendes, which are not the Filipino version, but like the Spanish version is just like little fairies that they're like the, what are they called? The shoe cobbler leprechauns, right? Kind of like that. It's kind of that idea. And I like that a lot. I think it's fun. So yeah, I've been reading a lot of good stuff. It wasn't really all that long, even though I've read a lot of things. I just don't have time to talk about everything in depth like I usually would. And I actually really would prefer to do this in more depth only on the second half of the month when I do my wrap up, because I realize that a lot of times I just repeat things in both videos, right? So I want to keep this a little bit shorter. Also, I've basically already done reviews for everything I mentioned, so there really isn't anything extra I need to say. So there we go. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thought, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.